Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen. I want to tell you a little bit today about a little journey I've been on with making sourdough bread. Back in January I went on a day course, to learn how to make sourdough, and little did I know how addictive it would be, and it's become quite a passion of mine these last few months. Sourdough is a different way of making bread, and here's an example of one I made earlier. It's made from yeasts naturally found, wild yeasts, all around the environment and within the flour and the wheat itself. And this is an example of that being captured. This is called a starter. This is natural yeast fermenting, and it creates all these bubbles, which are carbon dioxide bubbles, which show there's a lot of activity going on in there. And this is incorporated and mixed into the bread, the dough, to make it rise and end up looking like this. And one of the big differences with sourdough bread is its lovely air pockets that it gets, this nice open structure compared to the sliced bread that you normally buy. These wild yeasts are what give this bread a fantastic flavour as well. So the bread has such a long fermentation time, over 2 or 3 days, that it then creates a gorgeous flavour, which is where the sourdough, the sour bit of sourdough comes from. It can taste a little bit sour to some people, but you can control that with fermentation. So most of you at home will bake bread or yeast products with this type of yeast, which comes out of a tin which is powdered. And this is great, and it just takes a few hours to bake. But the thing about the long fermentation period is not just the flavour, but also the fact that it's easier to digest, and also is better for you because it's got the different types of yeast in here, the hundreds and thousands of different types of yeast, the wild yeast, not just one type of yeast. It's actually better for you health-wise as well. So I've enjoyed doing this, not only just for the family, but also to be able to give to people in this sort of more difficult time. There's nothing more rewarding than handing someone a loaf of bread. It's a real basis of life, and it's just fantastic to think that it can just materialise from simply flour and water. So this is just the flour and water right at the beginning of the dough making process. Look how sticky it is. This is now the starter, the wild yeast being added. And this bit is my favourite bit, when I get to add the salt and the water. And the dough goes from this sloppy mess to this really smooth, homogeneous dough. In it goes, ready for a night in the fridge before baking. And there you go. So if you've been inspired to make some sourdough after this, then absolutely great. I really encourage you to have a go. You can try and make your own starter. If that doesn't work or you don't want to have a go, I'd be very willing to share some of my starter, and that's how I got mine. I went on my course and I was given a little bit of that person's starter to take away with me and to look after and to feed and water it and keep it going. So if you would like to do that, I'd be more than happy to give you some of mine. So just email me if that's the case. So have a great week, everybody, and yeah, good luck with that baking. Bye.